The fourth and final step then in turning your trials into triumph is empower. Empower. We've just been seeing how we start to experience God coming to us. And experience is not just about getting things from God. It's about God coming to you himself in his spirit. God himself at work in you. And when that happens, the result is it will empower you in your handling of your trials. It will empower you. It will infuse you with a renewed hope and a galvanized faith. You will find yourself eventually invigorated, revived. Look down at verse 7 and just note the boldness with which David starts to pray. He says, "Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for you strike all my enemies on the cheek. You break the teeth of the wicked." Renewed confidence in God. No longer is he pouring out his own agonies of heart, although he's spent lots of time doing that. That's where he began. But now his faith is rising. He is filled with boldness. He says, "Arise, save me." He's using warrior language here. He's addressing God as a warrior. And he's saying to God, "Arise from your place. Equip yourself with your armor and go into battle. Go and make war on my enemies, O Lord. Unsheath your sword. Command your armies. Give the word. Come in power. Come in victory. Strike down my enemies." Isn't that a prayer of confidence? You know, he is now a man empowered to pray big prayers, to ask great things of God, because he's experienced God, and now he's empowered. "This is what I want you to do, God," he says. "I want you to strike all my enemies on their cheek and break their teeth." You know, in ancient Near East culture, striking someone on the face, slapping on the cheek, is a sign of gross humiliation. Slapping them around the face. We even see that today as a slap in the face. Gross humiliation. And breaking their teeth is a way of, you know, is another phrase used to essentially say, render my enemies toothless, powerless. Humiliate them. Rob them of their power. Bring your justice, O God. This is what you do. You will overcome, O God. Great confidence, great prayer, asking for big things from God, renewed faith. And then he finishes with this great word of worship and praise. "Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing be on your people." Here is David, now filled with faith, declaring, worshiping. What a massive contrast from where he began in verse 1. And so we ourselves, as we read this, we can use this pattern to help us process our trials and anticipate triumph because of God. Go through these 4 steps: present, confess, experience, and then empower. But what I want to end on is this thought. How do we know, as we sit here today, how do we know that this can work for us? It worked for David, and we see that very clearly. It's amazing, it's very inspiring, but how can we know this will work for us? Well, here's how. King David, here he is pouring his heart out to God in agony on the Mount of Olives. And there he is stood there, looking over at Jerusalem, the city that rejected him and his kingship. And he wept and he cried out to God. And one of David's later ancestors, his great on grandson, a son of David himself, climbed the Mount of Olives many years later. His name was Jesus. And there he was, overlooking the great city, this time with a temple built. And there he is, pouring out his heart to God. He's in agony of soul, weeping over the city that rejected his kingship, weeping over the people of that city who turned away from God. And Jesus prayed, if it were possible, let this cup of suffering pass from me. But he goes on, but not my will, God, but yours be done. How do you know for sure that your foes will be defeated? How do you know for sure that the truths about God that you confess will actually apply to you? How can you expect this stuff that we've been talking about to really strengthen you? Because David's son, Jesus, went to the cross to defeat your enemies. All of them. When he died on the cross and he arose on the third day into complete victory. That's how you know, because your King did it for you. So therefore, you and I, as we read Psalm 3, we can hope and plan and expect to experience the salvation that Psalm 3 talks about. Because we know that through Jesus, great David's greater son, we know that through Jesus there is no ultimate enemy that will ever get the victory over us. No matter how bad and depressing our current circumstances are, no enemy shall prevail against us because of Jesus. And when we look at Jesus, the Son of David, and we see what God the Father does to save us, save his people, to save you, what he does to come to you, to bring you salvation, then it will empower you. It will fill you with faith. It will lift up your head. It will be to you a shield. You will know that God has not abandoned you, that he has decisively brought victory against all of your enemies. Everything that will form itself against you will not survive, because Jesus is victorious. You'll be empowered. Ask great things. Expect great things. Amen.